Number 2. You got it.
Karl Reid is a little bit of a celebrity around the Toastmasters community. You may have known him from his various seminars covering the topic of humor. Who better to write a book and speak about the topic of humor than a funny man, a Q-tip with ears. But let's first cover his appearance. Karl does a classy thing by showing up always at every event I've ever seen in a lovely, expensive suit and $700 tie. Unlike some people, like Jeremy, perhaps. He's always extremely professional in all of the speeches I've ever seen him. I think he emulates Ronald Reagan a lot in the way that he carries himself. He's consistent with his vocal variation. He delivers his points very carefully. He's well thought out in everything that he delivers. In this speech, Learn to Laugh at Yourself, Others Are, he gave us a very powerful message. And that message was how useful it is to use humor to diffuse difficult situations and look at your life, no matter what the challenge is, in a way that uplifts you and makes your life a little bit lighter. And he brought in some fantastic examples. He spoke about how important, how young children at age of 4 laugh more often and more easily than we do. And he used his dry wit to explain that 40-year-olds don't laugh as much because they have possibly 4-year-olds, which is, these types of references add credence to his arguments. He also referenced Wayne Dyer and Charles Jarvis using the definition of humor. In doing so, he's solidifying his argument and making a very cogent message for all of us. He also started off a progressive speech at young childhood, explaining how he had a difficult childhood, and he peppered his entire speech with humor, a lot of it very dry wit. He explained how he had a difficult time as a child, lots of jokes poked at his expense, and how humor would have made his life a little bit easier. And as he moved up into adulthood, he spoke about divorce, which is a very serious topic and very difficult to make light of, but Karl pulls it off very successfully. Personal jokes are what really nails his message home. While he used jokes that were not always of a personal nature, it was those personal jokes that made you and I feel that we could relate to him and see that he's right. Humor is incredibly powerful. I think that Karl does a great job in delivering his speeches. As I said before, he's very professional. In future, I think it would be worthwhile to potentially look at using more vocal variation. In none of the speeches I've seen in the past, and this one included, he's very central, very political in nature. And it might be good to throw something at us that we weren't expecting. But it's a fantastic speech. Thank you for the lesson.
Yes, very good.